Thanks to the team at kicks.com.au, I'm happy to offer a very special 15% off discount code to use on all 4Ks, Blu-rays and DVDs store-wide, including on the Indiana Jones 4K collection. Just apply the code DAVE15 at checkout for your discount. Code is eligible to Australian and New Zealand customers and can be used on all products, including sales stock and pre-orders. Valid until September 2021. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the latest release from Paramount Pictures, the Indiana Jones 4 movie collection on 4K Ultra High Definition, the first time the films have been made available on the format. Here, I'll deliver a quick unboxing of the Australian edition and go over my thoughts on the brand new masters and the offering of special features. As always, I will leave purchase links down below, including one for kicks.com.au for Australian and New Zealand customers, and Amazon affiliate links for US and UK viewers. The Indiana Jones 4 movie collection Australian edition comes in this beautiful box set, which utilises the artwork used on the US and UK Steelbook editions. I much prefer this artwork here, considering the artwork used on the standard international editions is practically the same that's been used on the previous Blu-ray and DVD sets, both of which I still own. Nothing incredibly special on the cover here. As far as effects go, there's no embossing or holofoil, it's just plain and simple with a nice gloss finish. The box set is quite a decent size and has a thick spine with the Indiana Jones logo, as the world map graphic from the front continues across to the back. On the back, we simply have a list of the films included, which are of course all 4 of the current Indiana Jones films: Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, and The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Some technical specs and a list of special features are on here too. Opening up, the collection is presented in this nice yet simplistic digipack packaging, which I always love. First thing you'll see is some artwork featuring all 4 of the artifacts or MacGuffins key to each of the individual films. Flipping over, there's another great graphic of Indy cracking his whip, which can be found in the US and UK editions of the set, and opening up we see yet another, which is strangely absent on those international collections. The digipack opens up to find each of the films on individual translucent 4K discs and a Blu-ray bonus features disc. Don't worry, while these discs appear to be stacked, the way the case is designed, they don't touch each other. Additionally, the box set comes with a small piece of memorabilia, a double-sided poster, which on one side sees a montage of all 4 Indiana Jones theatrical posters, all drawn by the incredible Drew Struzan. And on the opposite side is a world map covered in photographs, field notes, character bios, film synopses and other tidbits placed across the locations they occurred in the films. Not the most special inclusion, particularly as these sets were originally announced to include a booklet, but something is better than nothing, and I always appreciate the extra effort. The biggest question most fans have when considering yet another dip of an all-time classic like this is it worth the upgrade? When it comes to Indiana Jones, for me, the short of it is absolutely. But if you've clicked into this video, you're more than likely looking for a more comprehensive answer, so let's break it down. The original Blu-ray releases of the Indy saga, which are the ones still available on the market, were released all the way back in 2012, a near decade ago. For those Blu-rays, Lucasfilm fully restored and remastered Raiders of the Lost Ark in high definition, though simply color-corrected the existing digital masters of Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, which were originally produced for the 1999 VHS release and later reissued on the 2003 DVD. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, on the other hand, was presented in its original 2K digital intermediate. Each of the films were additionally presented with outdated 5.1 audio tracks, originally created for those 2003 DVDs. For this new release, each of the 4 movies, all of which were originally shot on 35mm film, have had their original elements rescanned in 4K, have been remastered in 4K digital intermediates, have been given HDR passes, and are presented with new Dolby Atmos audio tracks. Suffice to say, all 4 transfers presented here on 4K are enormous leaps above what has previously been on offer. Given the substantial remastering that has been done on all 4 films, we are essentially getting true 4K presentations for the entire saga, and in the case of Temple and Crusade, the newest full remasters for almost 20 years. So naturally, all 4 of these movies look better than they ever have on home media before, and I know I've been watching these films since those late 90s these VHS releases. The great thing is, the remasters are pretty much identical right across the board, so let me speak in generalities for the most part. Of course, the biggest thing we'll notice is just how crisp and clear these movies have pulled up. Particularly in relation to the original trilogy, they are insanely sharp, detailed, and lifelike. Take particular note of fabric textures and the stains and dirt marks on Indy's clothing, the texture and pure detail in skin, the appearance of every pore, wrinkle, and bead of sweat. Every location is crystal clear and so lifelike, you feel like you could quite literally jump into the screen. The only double-edged sword here is that the image is now so crisp, sequences shot on sets and sound stages now, more than ever before, seem quite artificial. However, I always feel that this adds to the charm of these films. These classic pulp adventures are always meant to look and feel like cinematic fantasy. If any film looks a touch softer than the others, it's perhaps Temple, which has always been a visual anomaly amongst the bunch, owing largely to its much darker visual landscape. Grain structures across all four films are terrific as well. The heaviness and density of grain feel does vary from film to film, but in each instance simply feels filmic, non-intrusive, and natural. Thank God there is no sharpening or DNR to be seen here whatsoever. In specific relation to Crystal Skull, the craziest thing that leapt out to me is, with these new remasters, just how authentic the film feels visually to the others in the series. Crystal Skull simply does not seem, again, visually at least, like the newer film. The masters here are really that consistent. Now, this could be a testament to how incredible the new masters of the originals are, that they've been given a new life to feel like modern films. Or I think it's a testament to how Spielberg so beautifully recreated the visual look and landscape of his original trilogy almost 20 years later, something I have not been able to fully appreciate until now. Of course, once Crystal Skull does reach its CGI-heavy final act, it does feel and look noticeably newer and more modern. Additionally, I am really impressed with just how much better Crystal Skull does look here over the Blu-ray. Considering, as the newer movie, I was expecting it to be the weakest leap amongst the lot. They could have just simply upscaled the old 2K digital intermediate, but this is certainly not the case. As far as the HDR passes go, the films again look absolutely stunning. The indie movies have never been particularly colourful movies, relying simply on earthy, natural tones to form their visual landscape. The HDR passes, of course, deliver a gorgeously natural new shimmer to these tones. Dappled sunlight pours beautifully into scenes, earthy desert tones look more realistic than ever before, and green flora sparkles with radiance. The greatest thing about the colours here is that Lucasfilm has not gone overboard on the HDR. Some of these colours could have simply been exploded to unnatural levels, but instead a true and natural palette is on offer. Again, this is obviously an enormous mark above the last releases, whose colours always appeared incredibly dull. As far as shadow tones go, the masters offer deep blacks and pure whites. Obviously, the darkest of the films is Temple, which offers the greatest example of how these have been so wonderfully handled. There's even a few great moments in this film where deep blacks are juxtaposed with some of the only examples of vibrant, explosive colours in the franchise, and these are some of the greatest looking moments across the board. This film in particular probably offers up the best example of a more extravagant yet still natural use of HDR in this set. These are quite simply perfect restorations, and I think the single best reference materials for fully remastered, true 4K catalogue presentations on the market right now. Though I don't have a full and proper Dolby Atmos setup just yet, the upgrade in audio quality here is instantly noticeable. The films feel fuller, livelier, and more immersive than ever before. Indy's whip cracks with an absolute punch, bullets and arrows whiz around your head, and John Williams' incredible score booms like never before. The leap in depth from those 5.1 tracks to these Atmos ones is absolutely insane. As far as special features go, the offering here is identical to that offered in the previous Blu-ray set. While Paramount and Universal often offer up their special features on the 4K discs, they've instead opted to simply include them on a Blu-ray, essentially the same one that was previously issued. A vast majority of these special features are standard definition anyway, mostly hailing from the original 2003 DVD release. Sadly, there is nothing new here whatsoever. However, these supplements, which cover everything from the making of the films to the stunts, music, visual effects, props, locations, and everything in between, are so comprehensive and expansive that one wonders what else could could possibly be done, except maybe a retrospective roundtable or some commentary tracks, considering the indie films have never been issued with them. As we're seeing a lot recently, studios simply don't have the budget to produce new bonus features for their physical media reissues, particularly on titles like Indie that have been covered to death. Also, one has to wonder if, with Lucasfilm now being under the Disney wing and currently working on a new film for the Mouse House, whether this complicated matters in regards to producing anything new for this set for Paramount. Regardless, the features offering here is fantastic, and the feature-length making-of docos alone are some of the best ever put on the market. They're worth viewing for the first time or revisiting for a third. All in all, the Indiana Jones 4-movie collection on 4K is an absolute must-own for all fans of the films or of the format. It's available now globally, but don't forget, if you're in Australia, you can head to kicks.com.au and use the code DAVE15 to get 15% off your order until September 2021. Thanks to Kicks for sending me out a copy of this box set for review purposes, and thanks everybody out there for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.